Hi and welcome back to the Art Chicken. Today's video is my project vlog for the Cascade tank top, and I am not wearing it because I gave it away. It was a gift for my mother. I am wearing the Wanderer pullover that I just finished the actual knitting of. I have to finish the seams and I have to block it and I have to see if my partner likes it or if I should do any modifications. But I wanted to wear something else than the things that I've been wearing on repeat for the last few months in my videos, so this is what you get. You'll see me doing the last few rows of the collar in the end of the video if you stay until that, but yeah, video coming about this in a little while. But today's video is the Cascade tank top. This is a pattern that I chose because I wanted my mother to have something that she wouldn't knit for herself. She is a very, very talented knitter. She usually knits Icelandic patterns and she does a lot of textures. I think the Storm sweater and the Ingrid sweater from Petite Knit, and I have a bunch of them in my closet, but she doesn't knit with a smaller gauge, and I wanted to give her something that she wouldn't make for herself to be a summer garment for next year. I cast this on in September or August of last year. Yeah, August, because we were just about to move. The first shot is me picking out the yarn from a very messy sofa and moving boxes in the background. And then I knitted it on our old sofa in the new apartment. And I took the project to training in different cities. I took it to Germany to see my family. So I finished it for her birthday, or I had her try it on for her birthday, and then I modified it to be perfect for her, and then I shipped it off and wanted to forget all about it. But today, a few months later, I'm finally ready to talk about it and to compile the footage. So the Cascade tank top is a pattern by Lene Rix. It is a very, very sleek, elegant pattern. The people who have made the pattern on Ravelry, they have posted beautiful pictures, different colorways. It is a tank top with a I-cord finished edge for the neck and for the armholes, the sleeves or armholes, and it has a little ribbed cable going in spirals down each side of the front, and then you connect into a V, and then you knit a half twisted rib for the entire body. I knit this on 3mm needles. Yep. And I knit it on the Sandnes garn Tynn Line. I picked out the yarn when we were in Sandnes in the summer. We went to the factory outlet, which is incidentally where we bought this yarn too. This yarn my partner picked out himself, and these colours he picked out himself, and we collaborated on the pattern. But we, in Sandnes, I bought the Tynn Line for this. I knew that she wanted a blue colour, or that she would want a blue colour. This was a surprise gift knit for her. She would want a bluish colour. She has the very bright, almost Klein blue in a different... She made herself a tunic several years ago, and I thought I didn't want to use that specific shade of blue again, but I wanted to use something that would work with the rest of her wardrobe. So this greyish dove blue colour is what I chose. So with that background info, let's get into the actual vlog. Okay, so this is like a game of musical chairs, because I am knitting along, happy, doing stuff, and then the cable row hits and I have to cross over 9 stitches, and it's not very easy. So I'm very happy that this is such a short cable section, because I don't think that I would want to continue this for a longer time than this. I'm not sure if I messed up the row count, because one of my cables might be a bit too short, or one of them might be a bit too long. Don't know. But I am now on the 6th cable crossover. Is that what do you call it? The cable when it twists. The 6th out of 9, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So this cable crossover and 3 more, and then I just have to repeat it for the other side. This is the left leaning cable, and then I have to do a right leaning cable. Don't know if the right leaning is on the right or towards the left. Anyway, this hasn't taken too long, but, or you know what, it's actually not the row where I do the cable crossover. It's the row after that, because then I have to knit through the back loop, or no, I have to purl through the back loop of stitches that were just in a cable mix-up. So everything is very tight and not very easy on the hands, but I think that this is perfectly doable. I was a bit concerned that this might take forever to finish, and now having knit this very tiny section, I think that I will be able to finish it for my mother's birthday. So that does feel good. But yeah, the musical chair situation is a real thing, and now I just have to live through this another 13 times, because I have to do it on the other. There is no cabling on the back side of the top, so that is good. And I think it will be a beautiful finished piece. Probably, if I get there. Lizzie McGuire, you're an outfit repeater. I really do repeat outfits. I mean, I have stuff that I love. Why should I do something else? If I have the perfect pair of pajama trousers, why should I go for something else? If I'm just lounging about at home, doing nothing exciting for a few hours, why should I wear something that is not as comfortable? Nope. Okay, so this is a thing with the yarn. It's spun out of how many? 3? Yes, 3 strands. And it does split. Not a terrible amount, I've definitely had worse, but when you knit on a 3mm needle with splitty yarn, it's not necessarily a calm and mindful situation. It is making me work on my temper, however. Okay, so musical chair snag hit. Now I have to do the cable crossover. And you see what I meant with the cables. I don't know if this one is too long or if this one is too short. I thought I counted the right number, but evidently I did not. Okay, so I'll start with the I cord and I'll try and keep that snug, because that's something that really bothered me on one of my projects earlier in the year, that I wasn't I'm very new to I-cord edges in general, so I don't know what to do with them or how tight to keep them. So I was a bit uncareful with, a bit careless with my I-cord on that project, and now I don't like how it looks, but I think I'm quite pleased with this so far. Okay, so I have see, this is just incredibly faffy. Hang on, I need to think. And this whole thing might be easier if I had a cable needle, but I don't. So I will just have to make do with this. And it is a bit too long. It is driving me ever so slightly crazy. See, this is because now I have to knit through the back loop, and that is not very easy. You can see my fingers just absolutely straining for their lives. And another knit through the back loop. Did I get all 3 strands? Yes, I did. Another yarn over, and another knit through the back loop. Okay, first stage finished. And a pearl, this is so incredibly cramped. Can you hear the rain outside? It's a very cozy day. It's a bit dark, but if you watch my videos, it's not for the video quality. So I was going to apologize for the lighting, but I remembered who I am and what I do. No. Or yes? Yes. Okay. So that was the cable crossover section. Now for the really fun part, where I have to knit everything that I just did. I have to purl everything that I just did through the back loop. First, the I-cord. This might all have been just terribly out of frame. I wanted you to be able to look over my shoulder, but maybe I just made it absolutely impossible for you to see anything because I was out of frame. Good thing I have another 13 of these to do that I can take you along with me. So that is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and now all of the back loop pearls begin. It would be ideal if I could finish these 2 strap sections before I leave for my train trip, because yes, I could definitely knit these cables on a train, but seeing how tight and frustrating this is, I think I might have a public meltdown. And that's not something that I would want to inflict upon others. Nope, you stay right there, thank you. See, these twisted, created out of a yarn over or just neighbouring a yarn over stitches are very tight and very frustrating to try and do something with. The yarn overs themselves are quite forgiving. See, I got 2 out of 3 strands and now I have all 3 of them. And let's see, did I do all of the stitches? Is it time yet? Okay, so now I don't have any idea whatsoever how many stitches I have to purl through the back loops. I'll just reverse count from the other side. So I have 3 there, and that is twisted, that's a knit, 3, twisted, twist, twist, until that is also twisted. Okay. Is this really supposed to be? Yes, it is, because even the stitches that were not twisted in the previous round are knit as twisted stitches. Don't ask me for the logic because I do not understand it, but that also isn't saying a lot because I'm an absolute beginner with this big of a cable. 3, 3, 2. See, that was a mistake. Did I just double twist that stitch? That feels a bit excessive, doesn't it? See, the cable row was fine, but the row after is just an absolute nightmare. Now I just have to do it another 12 times. Yay me. I am just quickly visiting some family for a family event, and I did bring my knitting as I always do. And let me see if I got this right. So after, no, I didn't get this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just after. So the progress I'm making is slow and steady. I am very happy that this is just a very short section of cables, because I mean, I did have a plan to knit a whole cardigan with cables, but I will have to revise that idea because, or at least I have to revise the difficulty rating of those cables. I couldn't handle an entire cardigan with cables that are this fiddly. Not at my current state of knowledge and at my current state of patience. But we are doing great progress. I am just finishing the last few rows of the bust piece, the left bust piece. Or is it the right? Because this is the left leaning cable. So I don't know if that is the right or the left piece. But because they are going to mirror each other. So my plan is to finish the other bust piece in the next few days, and then have just straight up and down knitting in the pattern as the stitches are given for my training later in the week, because I will be doing a 2-day training and a lot of listening in another city. So I hope that I get to finish the bust pieces and the difficult bits where I have to focus before I leave for that training, because I want to have something to do with my hands while I listen. That's how I find I listen the best, and I remember and I retain the information the best if I have something to do with my hands while I do it, while I listen. But I don't want to have to read a pattern while I do it, or constantly refer back to the pattern. So if I could find I have the Swedish word that I'm looking for, but not the English one. I would say raksträcka, so a straight road where you just, when you drive, where you don't have to think at all. That is what I would like to get to with this project before the training, because that would be ideal. But I'll see. I have to be kind to myself. As I've previously mentioned in this video, this is my first time knitting cables, or complicated cables. So, and this is by no means actually complicated in comparison to what I've seen people do, the magic I've seen people do on the internet. And in real life, I have seen some beautiful cable work that I can just admire and one day aspire to be able to do myself. But to get to that point, I have to practice. And if I don't practice, and if I'm not kind to myself while practicing, I'm not going to continue practicing. So this is fine. I'll see how well I like the results and if it was worth it to begin with. But so far you can see that I have managed all of the increases through cabling, and now at the bottom I'm following the rib pattern and then increasing around the cable to make this piece a bit wider because it needs to fit a larger size than me. For me, this would be plenty. I told you I think I messed up this cable. I think I made this a bit too short, or I might have made this one too long. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm not entirely sure that this is too short. This might actually be too long because they grow. So the first cable is just 2 or 3 rows, and then it grows up until the 5th cable, and then it's the same width of cable all the time. So I think, I don't know if it is noticeable. When I finish the second piece, I will look at them and see if I hate one of them, I'll remake it. But as it stands right now, I don't think that I hate any of the work that I've done so far. I'm actually quite proud of myself having managed. So this is where I am. I'll do some more increases without cables, and then I think I have another 20 rows or so, and then I'll place this just on the same cable and do a provisional cast on with the same yellow yarn, and then I'll continue with the second piece. If it's the right or the left, who can tell? Not me. Friends, I am so bored with the Cascade tank top. It's unbelievably boring at this point. So this tank top I'm knitting in a double XL. I usually wear a size medium or a size small. So when I knit something for myself, I know how long it takes to see progress on a 3mm needle. Now I'm knitting larger than I'm used to, which means the rounds are longer and the progress is a lot slower. So I feel like I'm knitting away and nothing is happening. And of course this is to be expected because I am used to one speed for my sizes that I knit for myself. It was the same thing when I was knitting my partner's Randrangi sweater, because I knit it for myself and then I knit it for my partner and then I knit it for myself. And my partner is so much larger and taller than I am, so the stockinette portion took ages, and for me, for my sweater, it was very quick. And the same thing here, although I'm knitting on a 3mm needle, and I think the camisole number 4 that I knit this summer for myself was also on a 3mm needle, or a 3.5. That went very quickly in comparison, and that was also a rib-ish stitch, and this is a half twisted rib with a lot of purling, so it's 3 purls and 1 twisted knit stitch rib. Because there are so many purls in the body and then the occasional twisted knit stitch, and the yarn is very splitty. I have to look at the pattern all the time. I don't have to look at the pattern. I have to look at the project the entire time that I'm knitting. I can't just mindlessly do something else or watch something else. I can't take it to see friends knit while we chat because I would like to keep eye contact with my friends at some point. And this is a project that demands activity monogamy. So I can't really do anything to alleviate the boredom of this pattern. I mean, I could and I should take the time to craft the eye cords together to get the clean finish. I should also take the time to fiddle with the eye cord where I cast on, because the cast on stitches are pulling at the eye cord and making it look wonky. Not very cute. And I'm convinced that there is a solution for this and that I can make it look better, but I haven't really taken the time to figure it out yet. And I should also untwist the shoulder strap that I accidentally twisted when I joined the pieces together. But the entire project is just at a very unmotivating stage at this moment, because I can't really see how much longer I have to go, and I can't see how long I've actually gone. So I should take my measuring tape out, but I'm afraid that just would make me discouraged, because it's going to be a slap in the face realizing that I have 20 odd centimeters left to knit. Oh my god, it's going to be more than 20, isn't it? Ugh. Anyway, I did some knitting on the train yesterday, headed back from a wedding in the south of Sweden, which was a beautiful affair. And I was aiming to get a lot more knitting done, but I underestimated how tired I would be after the celebration. Not necessarily that we got inebriated, but it was a late night and it had been a very intense weekend, meeting a lot of people, helping with the preparations, and just being very involved with everything, which is in itself a beautiful experience, but it did take quite a lot of energy out of me. So some progress was made. I had hoped it would have been more. I think I'm going to take the knitting on the train to work now. I'm headed to the office for a half day, and then I might show you how far I've come once I get home tonight. But it's really, really boring at the moment. If you'd asked me just when I finished the straps if this pattern was fun and if it was a recommendation from my part, I would have said definitely, because I really like the look and the knitting experience was engaging enough, but not complicated enough to be frustrating. It was fiddly, but not frustrating. And now I feel like it's not worth it. Ask me again how I feel once it's finished, and I might change my mind, but at this moment, it's just sunk cost fallacy at this moment, because I feel like I've knit so much, I've come this far, and I've invested so much time in it, and I know that my mother would be so happy to get this as a birthday present, but if it had been for me, and I would have been this bored by a project for me, I would have given it up. And I'm not usually one to give up on a project, she says, with a bunch of hibernating whips. But I would have given up and known that I will never finish this. So this is just pure stubbornness that is keeping me knitting on this project at this moment. I will see you in a little while. I feel like I have a love-hate relationship to it at this point, because it is an absolute slog knitting the body for this top. It's just an infinity project. But at the same time, I feel like it's very helpful to have a project where I don't need to think, but I can just knit. And the very slow progress is also, I'm trying to gaslight myself into thinking that I like the project. The slow progress is also a way to not be stressed about this decision making, because with this, I know that I do not have to make a mistake. I don't have to make a decision for days. I have several days worth of work before I need to decide how long to make it, when to bind off, which bind off to use, because it's just, I just keep on keeping on with this. So I will show you, this is a feather. I did sew in a few ends, like 2. So I have a bunch of them left to do, but this is how far I've come on the tank top. I think I will probably try it on myself tonight to see how big it is, how long it is. I do not have the capage to fill out this size, so it will just hang on me, but I want to see how long it's falling from the shoulders. Oof, sunshine. I really feel like a knit podcaster now when I'm like, oh, grab. That was bad mic etiquette. I feel like a knit podcaster now when I say grab something hot to drink, let's get cozy, because I have an update. But I'm actually just waiting for my breakfast tea to cool down a bit before I can actually drink it. So this will be a fairly quick update. This is what I hope is one of my last 3 times filming this Cascade tank top, because I have now turned to I have now switched to a knit border that I will fold in over itself into the inside of the garment and then sew down into the front. So this will not be a bind off, this will be a sewn ending. I don't know what it's actually called. If someone does know, please let me know. And then the next step is shortening the shoulder straps, which I am a bit hesitant about doing because how do I even? It will be fine. And then I will try it on and I will send it off, because I have another thing that I'm sending to my mother tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and then I'm including this. That's the deadline I'm giving myself. So yes, I'm almost finished with it. I'm happy with the fact that I'm nearly finished with it. I don't know that I'm super happy with it, although now looking at it dry, it's better. But when I looked at the stitch definition, when I was washing it or when I was hanging it up to dry, I was a bit worried that the definition had been lost in the washing, and that would have been heartbreaking. But this looks better now. So now I have to fiddle a bit with the I-cord picked up stitches because they are a bit wonky, and I have to finish the hem. I don't think I should knit too much more because that would just make it too bulky, but probably finish this round and then go ahead and knit it down or sew it down. but I'm very happy to soon be rid of this because I want my needles back. At this point, it feels like I am. This project is holding the needles hostage, which is also a good thing because I want the 3mm needles for my wicked socks, and I don't want to let myself find another pair because I think I have another pair of 3mm needles. But if I find those, if I take them out, this is just never getting finished, and I don't want that to happen. So that's the update. I hope to be able to finish this today. So that is the Cascade tank top debacle finished. To get the positives out of the way before I start complaining, my mother is happy. I learned a thing or two about construction. I learned a thing or two about modifying and doing surgery after the fact, and that's about it. I also learned that I don't like knitting twisted rib for ages, half twisted rib. I also learned that I don't like knitting with yarn that is that splitty. The fibre of the yarn, being linen, of course is going to be more splitty than wool yarn. And I have knitted with cotton linen mix before, and yes, that was a bit splitty too, but the Tynn Line is definitely the splittier of the two, and I didn't like it. I also didn't like knitting the same pattern for so long where it became mindless, but since the yarn required me to look and make sure that I hadn't picked up just half of the strand, the mindlessness never really got to set in because I couldn't talk to friends while I was knitting it. I mean, I could talk on the phone, but that only gets you so far. And I couldn't watch the telly. I could only watch something that I didn't have to look at, so basically just listen to it. And there are only so many times that I want to listen to an audiobook for an extended amount of time. So it was just not an experience how I want a knitting experience to be. This project that I'm currently working on is also one of those projects where I need to look down, but that's because I am doing colour work and I have some easier portions and I have some more complicated portions, and that's fine. I mean, if a project is engaging enough for me to actually want to look down and need to look down, that is a completely different thing than being a mindless pattern that I could do basically in my sleep if it weren't for the material. And I know that a poor craftsman or craftsperson blames materials, so I realize that it's probably a me problem, but the experience was not engaging enough to warrant the amount of attention that the knitting process required. So I am happy that the project is out of my hands, out of my apartment, out of my mental mind palace. And after I did the modification, I was so disappointed with my execution. I thought that I had ruined everything, and I just had a bunch of bad feelings towards the project. And then I gave my mother this tank top anyway. And when she first put it on after it was finished, she actually put it on backwards or inside out. And because the fabric is so slippery that when I had folded it up and she took it out of the packaging that I had, because I had wrapped it, she took it out and it sort of fell into being inside out because it's just so slippy. And she put it on immediately, and when she had put it on, I saw that it was inside out, and that should have exposed the seams that I thought was very ugly, but you actually couldn't really tell that it was inside out, that was the ugly side, because the pattern is so well thought through and so well written that it actually does look good from the wrong side as well. But my bad feelings towards the project were just overwhelming, so it's going to take a while before I like looking at it again. And since my mother and I don't live in the same city, I don't know how often I will actually see her wearing it, so I guess we'll see. But the main objective of this project was to knit my mother something that she wouldn't knit herself, because it's too fiddly, it's too intricate and too small of a gauge. And that I did accomplish. She now has a tank top that is in one of her favorite summer fiber compositions and one of her colors that she likes, and it's something that she wouldn't have made for herself. So mission accomplished, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the process. I like it now that I have done it, but no. So sorry for being such a negative Nancy, but this is just one of the realities of knitting. And honestly, if I hadn't given my mother the tank top to try on before I realized that I needed to modify it, and I then modified it and saw how disappointed I was with it, if she had never seen it, I wouldn't have given it to her. I would have tossed it. I don't think I would even have unraveled it. I would have just tossed it. And I don't think that I've ever done anything like that, but that's how strong my opinions were about the process. But she had seen it and she had been excited about it, so I made sure to actually give it to her, and she sounded pleased and she looked pleased and she looked good in it too. So one of those things, it was a long project, and now I am soon going to do a bunch more egotistical knits, because I'm currently working on my partner's Christmas present a month late because the first version failed. It was too small. And then once I'm finished with this, I am going to knit something just for me again. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed seeing my struggles. If you enjoyed it, please give me that little boost of dopamine. Like the video, maybe even subscribe to the channel. That would be lovely to see that at least I gained something from this experience. And I hope that I will see you in my next video, whenever that is and whatever that is. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye.